Hey guys, this is Andrew with MyWatchAddiction.com bringing you another watch review today. Today we're going to take a look at a watch from a manufacturer that I've previously reviewed very early on in my Watch Addiction channel. Before we get started though guys, can you do me a favor? Down there in the right hand corner of the screen is that subscribe button. Can you go ahead and smash that little guy so you can follow us on into the future? So, what haven't we taken a look at in a while? Very early on, when I first started this channel, first joined Watchgang, one of the first Watchgang Platinum Subscription watches that I received was a Virata. And if anybody remembers any of that really old video, I say old video, it was over the summer, probably like June, July time frame, I received a rose gold Virata that I absolutely hated. That watch, I liked the watch, but I hated the color. I hate rose gold, I hate regular gold, I hate any type of real gold coloring on stuff. But that watch I actually sat on, ended up sitting on, didn't ever wear it, sat in a box, whole 9 yards. I actually sat on that watch for about 6 months before I was actually able to trade that one away. Gold, if you're not aware, for some reason gold in watch groups doesn't trade away real easily unless it's a really nice watch that somebody's looking for. But I could not get rid of that gold Virata to save my life. That was the VRT1.7, I believe was that model number. Again, it's one of my earlier videos, feel free to go back and check it out. But today what we actually have is another Virata that was sent out as a Watchgang Platinum subscription from over the summer. This is a watch that I actually traded another watch for to get this watch in and take a look at because I really like the color on this. So let's jump in. For those of you that are not familiar with Virata watches and have not seen my previous video, we'll take a walk around the box here. This is just a cardboard box with an interesting coating on it, almost like a leather strap that you can fold down to close the case with so it doesn't fall open. That's kind of a little neat addition. Has the Virata logo right there on that Velcro piece. If we open it up, we have the watch, which I'm going to set aside so we can take a look at here in just a second. But inside, it's more of the same. Cardboard on the inside. We also have, coming with this watch, if I can spin it around for you, we have the Virata warranty card along with just an instruction manual on the movement that's in this watch, talking about how to use it, crown operation, the whole 9 yards. So that's what comes in the box with the watch. Pretty basic to a lot of stuff. So let's take a look at this actual watch and walk around it for a minute. So as I mentioned, the previous Virata that I had was rose gold, and it was rose gold with gold stitching in the band, and I absolutely was not a fan of that watch. This watch is kind of interesting in the respect that, to my knowledge, I don't believe too many watch manufacturers do this, but this watch actually has a patent on the design. It's very interesting design. It's almost like a lug nut type shape to it. I know there's a lot of people that are not fans of this case design. Some like it, some hate it, some could take it or leave it, but it's got like a really interesting design to all the different angles on it. It kind of reminds me of a stealth fighter, anybody that's into aircrafts, but it's got those multiple angles on the case that to me make it stand out a little bit. Talking a little bit about this watch, as I did mention, black leather band. This one has white stitching on the band itself. If we walk around the band, we've got standard clasp, which says Virata on it. On the inside of the band, nothing special. We do have an open case display back for this watch. This watch is an automatic watch running the Miyota 90-15 movement in this watch, so it's real workhorse movement. A lot of watch companies are using that movement, it seems like, these days, or at least a lot of the watches that I've picked up anyway. I'll get some closer pictures of this later, but you can see in the dial there, this is a carbon fiber carbon fiber design on this dial. It's pretty sharp. Black PVD coating on this case should make it pretty rugged and stand up to a little bit of stress. The crystal on this watch is a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, which seems to be working all right with the lighting that I have in this room. Doesn't look too bad. This watch has a 100-meter water resistance, as well as the date function at the 4:30 position on this watch. So the date is at the 4:30 position on this watch. The case diameter for this watch is 44 millimeters, and it's 14 millimeters thick. So very similar to the last watch I reviewed on the case thickness. This one does have a little bit smaller diameter dial size, but that 44 millimeters for me is really, for my size wrist, is really a good area for me to stick in. It's not too big, it's not too small. I like that 44 to 47 millimeter design. If you see it compared to the watch that I'm wearing right now that I received it from a Watchgang Platinum Subscription last month, this watch is 50 millimeter compared to the 44 millimeter that is currently in my hands. The lug width on this watch is 22 millimeters, so it's a decent width decent width band. I personally am not a fan of anything smaller than 22 millimeters on the bands. They just feel, I don't want to use the word dainty, but they feel too dainty on me. They feel small. They feel just not substantial at all. So I'm a real big fan of 22 millimeters on up. One thing I forgot to point out about the movement, this Miyota 90-15 automatic movement that is in this watch has a 42-hour power reserve. For anybody that's new, that's not watching, basically in an automatic watch, the power reserve, when somebody references a power reserve, that basically talks about how much energy can be stored in the mechanics, in the mainspring of the watch to power it after the watch has stopped moving. If we look at the back there, we see that weight movement. Every time this watch moves, it's automatically winding this watch, or you can unscrew the crown and manually wind this watch to energize it. While we take a closer look at this watch, you can really see the depth of that carbon fiber in the close-up picture of this watch, as well as the indices. Looking forward to remembering I should say, what this watch looks like under lume. If we want to talk about the value on this watch a little bit, now for those of you that may or may not remember, this actually was a platinum subscription watch from Watchgang. Back in the day, I want to say maybe June, July time frame is when the Viratas came out. When they first hit, from what I remember, they took quite a beating. There was quite a few subscribers of Watchgang that were not a fan of this watch. Some people loved them, some people hated them. What I found really, really interesting is I was actually new to Watchgang. This was either my first or second Watchgang Platinum subscription when I received the rose gold one. So I wasn't real happy, but in watching what happened in the Facebook groups, this watch took a beating. And then eventually the hate for this watch, and I say this watch, not this specific watch and not this specific color, but the Virata watches in general, they took a real hating in the Facebook groups. A lot of people weren't fans of them, but as time went on, things died down, people stopped having that jumping on the bandwagon of disliking the watch mentality. Popularity of these Viratas has actually picked back up over the past couple of months a little bit. Just based on what I've seen, there's quite a few guys out there that have made an effort to purchase all the various color models of these Virata VRT 1.x versions. Now, one other thing that I want to point out is Virata is a watch company. It was a new watch company back in the day, but these watches are actually assembled by Lumtech. Lumtech is, if you're not familiar with, is a very popular watch company, but Lumtech is actually the company that assembled these watches for Virata. So, popular watch company doing the assembly, a little bit out there design, really high quality parts, high quality fit and finish. I think that this watch definitely got underrated when it first came out and people were first looking at it. So back to value for a second. As I mentioned, was a Watchgang Platinum Subscription watch that I purchased originally, my original one, for $299 plus shipping. My trade value on this one, because it's been a while since they came out, my trade value on this one that I picked up this watch for was in the $250 range, was the watch that I traded for this one to pick up. So I personally felt I got a very good deal on this watch. If you look at Virata's website, which is viratawatches.com, if you look at this website, they're not selling this specific model, but they have the VRT 1.5, which is pretty much the same watch, all black, with the exception the indices are gray and the dial is straight black, not carbon fiber. Virata's selling that version for $695 currently on their website. Now, this carbon fiber dial, as well as, interestingly enough, the rose gold version that I had, actually were products of Virata's Kickstarter campaign. Now, Virata ran a Kickstarter campaign when they first started this, and I'm just looking to see here. Estimated delivery on the Kickstarter campaign was March of 2017, so it probably started a few months before that. To purchase this watch via Kickstarter at that point in time was $465. So when you purchase this watch through Kickstarter, when they were trying to get this company off the ground, trying to actually make this watch, $465 is what the backers paid for this watch. Taking a look around now, what the values are and what they're going for, I did find on Touch of Modern they were selling this watch at one point in time for $849. Whether or not there was a lot of sales for that or not, I cannot say. Personally, I know I would not pay $849 for this watch. It's a nice watch, but it's just not that, doesn't have that value to me. If I jump over to eBay, there's actually only 2 Virata watches that are for sale or listed right now on eBay. There is a VRT 1.6, actually, I'm sorry, both of them are VRT 1.6s. One of them is going for $199 and the other one is going for $300 of best offer. For me, what I'm seeing, what my take is that because these are limited edition watches, there wasn't a huge circulation of these watches made. It's really kind of up to the personal collectors. I know for some people, they absolutely hate this watch. For me personally, I look at this watch, I appreciate the design, I appreciate the fit and finish, I appreciate the feel on my wrist, and I genuinely like the watch overall, so I'm very happy with it. But with only 2 listed on eBay and virtually nothing else out there other than on social media for availability on these watches, it's really hard to assign, for me anyway, in my opinion, to assign a price to this watch. I was comfortable with the $250 trade value that was put on this watch. That's what I thought was what this watch was worth to me, because I like the color, I like the band, and again, I like the case design. But each person is going to be different. I can guarantee there's going to be a good portion of the viewers or subscribers of this channel that absolutely hate this watch or dislike this watch. And that's the awesome thing about watch collecting, is we don't all have to agree on what watches are best. It's like anything in life. We like what we like, and it doesn't matter what other people think. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at watches, you're trying to find a watch for yourself. Put it out of your head. Don't care about what other people think about the watch. Care about what you think about the watch, and that's where the actual value comes in. Alright guys, so that was the Virata VRT1.7 with carbon fiber dial and black PVD coating. I really think that I'm going to enjoy this watch much more than the 1.8 that I had, the rose gold version. As I mentioned, I really like the design. I really like the size, the weight, just the general overall look and feel on my wrist, but I hated the coloring of that other watch. So I'm really excited to have this black and carbon fiber version in my hands. Anyway guys, thank you for sticking around. If I remember correctly, on that rose gold Virata, it had some pretty nice lume on the dial, so stick around and take a look at some of the close-up pictures of this watch, and definitely check out some of the lume shots. If you guys have any questions about this watch or about anything in general, post them up in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can follow us in the future. As always guys, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me at mywatchaddiction.com. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Instagram/watchaddiction.us. Thank you guys, and have a great week.